order at 5:15. Here we go. Roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Chairperson Terry Bavona.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Ellen Paul. Committee Member Dennis Jones.
Here.
And Committee Member Denise Ritchie.
Here. Okay, we'll have a moment of silence and followed by the pledge. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now it looks like before we go to public input, we do nominations, right?
Yes,
Or-
ma'am, but we just want to ask to see if there's any agenda changes. I don't know of any, so we can keep going forward. But yes, yeah, then we would proceed to the chairperson and vice chairperson election for this year.
Okay, so number one on the agenda is to the election of the committee chairperson. Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Terry.
Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Well, do you accept?
I do accept.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'll accept.
Okay, give me one moment. We're gonna second. Alrighty. Ms. Bavona, Chairperson Bavona.
Hey, yes.
Committee Member Jones.
Aye.
Committee Member Ritchie.
Aye.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you all. The next item on the agenda is the election of our vice chair for the committee. Do we have any
Can we elect,
nominations for that?
Ellen? Can we elect Ellen?
We can. Like I said, it would just be in lieu of her accepting once she got back.
She's been in that position before, correct?
Yes, she was there, the year prior.
Okay.
Yeah, you gonna nominate her?
I nominate her. Is that what you want?
Is that what you're gonna do? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
And then a second?
I'll
Sure.
second.
Okay. And then, like I said, it'll be in lieu of her accepting, which we can verify when she comes back. So Chairperson Bavona,
Aye.
Committee Member Jones,
Aye.
and Committee Member Ritchie.
Aye.
Beautiful.
Okay. Next is public input. We'll open it up for public input. Okay, we'll close it for public input. First item on our agenda today is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting back in October of '24, which were provided by the city. Hopefully, everybody got a chance to read through those, and we will nominate to approve those minutes, right?
I nominate
Yes.
to approve the minutes.
No second.
Alrighty, so approval by Mr. Jones, seconded by Ms. Ritchie. I'll just do a quick roll call. Chairperson Bavona,
Aye.
Aye.
Committee Member Jones,
Aye.
and then Committee Member Ritchie.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the next item here, and that is a review of our expenses to date, to the date being January 31st of '25.
Correct. Good evening, Holly Queen, Finance Director, here to go over the financials. So in front of you, you'll see the year-to-date actuals through January 31st. Everything there listed will show you the total expenses. Any POs that are currently outstanding, that's the encumbered amount, so that's expected to be spent by the end of the year. And then our ending balance, so we can see there for fountains, we have an ending balance right now of $4,000. For grounds, the biggest piece in this is your landscaping contracts, which I'll let Kevin give the update on the landscaping contracts. But it sounds like we're in a very good spot with those. So right now, the estimated ending balance on that with those POs out there is $63,000. Signs and walls, that's very small. That's left over $42,000. Under your contract admin, we just got the bid back from NBS for the actual administrative and legal services. And good news, it came back a little bit less than what it typically does. So we're saving about $600 a year in that service. The other large item that's still budgeted in there is around $40,000, and that's for that assessment district review. So I'm working through the contract negotiations with NBS right now to get the scope and everything set up for the assessment district review. Your utilities, the only thing we noticed was in the month of January, they spiked a little bit up. It could have been due to some leaks and some irrigation. We looked at the account going forward and it looks like it's stabilized. So it could have been just a small leak that was taken care of by Kevin's team. Your energy usage, pretty steady there. It looks like there was one small spike in December, but it appears that it might be a billing timing situation where they caught up on billing. And then your streetlights are standard quarterly amounts that you're paying. Did you have any specific questions on any of your expenses?
Is Duke Energy in process of getting a rate increase, do you know?
I do not know. I believe they went up last year. I'll have to see, based on your specific accounts, if there's been anything proposed, but I think that's based on the annual cycle.
And the increase in irrigation, the city did increase irrigation costs.
Yes,
Right, so that
yes,
would
a
be
small
baked in.
amount.
Yeah, it would be
Yes.
baked in here.
Correct, correct.
Other than that, looks like we just had some fountain repairs, right? In the last quarter before we met.
Yeah, so I did propose some budget amendments. Unfortunately, because we had a hurricane in the middle of the construction of the South Fountain, we couldn't get it done before fiscal year end, but what we did was we rolled 4 of those POs. So it's just an administrative task of closing them out in the old fiscal year, rolling the financials to the new fiscal year, and getting those contractors paid. So they're done with the South Fountain, and Kevin can update you on the North Fountain. But luckily, all of the South Fountain expenses were covered by insurance. So very thankful for that.
Yep, very thankful for that. And the other thing on the assessment for the renewal, I know you're working on that very diligently. Will we have like a working session once you come back? Or, because I think the next time we meet will be May. I
Yeah,
think,
well,
right?
if the timing doesn't work out for the regular meeting, then we might do a special meeting specifically for that.
Okay, yeah, because I thought I saw the budget timeline on the city's website. I think come July.
Yes, it's
everything
due,
has to be
it's
to the
due July
commissions,
1
right?
to the city commission. So what we could do if it's not done by then is base everything on what the assessment is right now and then make an adjustment if the budget goes through and the timeline's not done for the assessment district update. We can always do a budget amendment at the later time, but there are some deadlines within the August time period of getting stuff to the property appraiser to be able to get it on your assessment. So I'm going to work diligently. The good thing is that if MBS is the one that does it, they're also the one that oversees the administration of the assessment district. So they have a lot more insight on the timing, and they're the ones actually providing the data to the tax collector and to the property appraiser for the assessment rolls. So they're much closer related to it rather than another company.
And do they have a feel, like, budgetary items like our future wants or needs or things that might come up?
So
like-
that'll be part of the discussion that we have. We'll put a preliminary outline together now that we have the landscape contract, because obviously that was kind of the biggest thing that we were waiting on.
Right.
But once we'll put a preliminary feel together, and then we'll come and ask for your input to then, before anything is finalized with the potential rate increases.
Yeah, I just get worried that, fountains have had a major rehaul here, north more than south.
Right.
South is probably needs it as well as some of the walls around. I mean, some of the brick walls here are just really pretty old, too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, finding brick masons is very, very difficult. I just had to deal with that in my own neighborhood, and we have our own, self-led HOA, and scrounging up the money for that was difficult. So
Yeah.
finding brick masons is a hard thing, but that is definitely something we can add into that.
Yeah.
I have got the guy.
You do? Awesome.
He even tints the grout to look as old as the grout that's there. You don't see white lines, and he is amazing.
Okay.
He's the guy that originally built the wall for our neighborhood.
Kevin's going to want his contact
Yeah,
information.
he's great. Okay.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that any
Yes.
future things that we're thinking of, maybe we wanted to do the fountain bottoms or, something like that down the road, or brick walls that need to be maintained, that
a decision wasn't made about the color.
No, we didn't make any of that. We don't really have the budget for it right now, but.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so we
fine.
can bring those up in a workshop. That's kind of some of the things I'm working through to get a final number from MBS is, how many type of sessions do we need? How many presentations do we need to council, to you guys, to make sure that everybody is aware and understands exactly what the assessment
Yeah,
district
like
is
more
looking for.
automation for Kevin as he's, with the water systems
Irrigation,
and things
correct.
like that would be costly,
Yeah.
which are not in our budget and are most needed.
Correct.
As we know.
Correct.
Okay, sounds good.
All
So
right.
We'll look forward to that.
All right.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, committee. Kevin Maddox, Landscape and Arbor Manager, City of Winter Springs. So I know Holly touched on a couple things, and I'll expand a little bit. So as far as the landscape contract, as you know, it was put out to bid again. We are currently presenting to commission a request to negotiate a contract with a selected contractor. Price-wise, exactly the same for, another year, actually 3 year. So we'll stay the same price without the increase, of course, the CIP increase. But it's the same price per year as what you're paying now.
But we.
So that's a no-brainer.
Pretty
on
much.
Cost, right? How about on
Cost.
service?
Yeah.
I mean, Nature's Coast did it really,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually that's I believe that's probably I think that's who is recommended at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah. So, but that's where we're at with the landscape contract at this point. Like again, we're going to be proposing to the commission or presenting to the commission to negotiate a contract at this point on this next
Well,
commission
locking it
meeting.
in for 3 years, that's a really good deal, Kevin, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you,
so.
when you say negotiate, do you mean accept their offer?
Basically, no, it's where the city will present our contract to them, or your contract to them on behalf of the city, or on behalf of you. And they, so long as both parties agree to the contract. And then it will be awarded at that time. But we need commission's approval to negotiate a contract.
In the meantime, the old one's still in effect, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So, did you have any questions about the contract other than that?
Nope.
Okay.
Right there.
Fountain updates.
And I would-
Everybody wants to know. Well, I know. So, South Fountain is done. We have one more kink that we're working out. I'm sure you guys have noticed that the geysers don't shoot as high
Right.
sometimes. We have an issue with some leaves getting in the pumps right now, so we're currently working that out. It's a minor issue. It's not going to cost any more money, but it is going to take a little bit of construction-esque to correct. But again, doesn't cost any more money. It was a defect on one of the parts that was brought in. So we're just waiting for that to come in. We get that in. It's a filter is all it is. So once that comes in, it'll stop the leaves from entering the main pump, because it's clogging the main pump that runs those geysers. North Fountain. Well, let me backtrack. South Fountain Landscaping. So we've got sod. We've got sod going down. We're not going to be able to restore as much mature landscaping right away as we wanted to for budget reasons, because of the North Fountain is going to be chewing up a little bit of money. And I'll get into that here in just a second. But I wanted to start with the landscape because I know everybody wants to know about the landscaping on the North or South Fountain. North Fountain, I know last meeting we spoke, we had an issue with the vault flooding and the pumps, being destroyed. And so we finally, after a couple different contractors taking a look, giving prices, we have pinpointed the issues. We're going to be doing the exact same thing with the vault and the pumps as we did on the South Fountain. Now, keep in mind, this is only just the vault and pumps, not to the extent that we just did on the South Fountain, replastering and replumbing and all that. We will be replumbing from from the fountain to the vault where the pumps are stored. So you get another vault. We're going to have to rebuild the vault. The water intrusion's it's just shot. It's a 20-something-year-old vault that's in the ground right now. 18 years old, I think is what they said. So, needed to be done a while ago. It hasn't been done, so we're going to do it now. Total cost for everything, for all the work, is $24,000 to get that done. I don't believe that's reflected yet, is it?
Probably not.
No.
No,
No.
nothing,
Look like it.
so.
So, but that's where we're at with that. But they are in the process now. The PO has already been issued. They are in the process now of getting that up and going. We're looking at, once the pumps come in, the pumps have been ordered, so not the motors, but the pumps themselves. So the pump is actually the mechanical portion, not the electrical portion. The motor drives the impeller in the pump. So I know it gets confusing. You think of pump, you just think the electric portion of it, but it's the actual mechanical portion of it. So once those pumps come in, they'll be installing them. They were ordered about, I think, eight business days ago, and it was 7 to 10. I spoke with them yesterday, and when they checked the tracking, they were supposed to be delivered tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So, and they feel that they can be in and out with everything in about 3 days. So once all the parts are in.
Are they the same kind of pumps you got in the north and the
Yes,
south? Or
yes, they're
gonna
going to
be
match.
Okay, good.
That's going
good.
to. I made sure that we're going to match. There's no need to go back to to keep throwing good money at bad. So we've upgraded on the north this time to kind of get a jump on what we need to do, even if we need to piecemeal it in, which is completely acceptable to do that. So, but that's where we're at as far as the North Fountain repair. We should be up and running in the next 2 weeks.
How long's it been down?
It's been down for 6 months
Oh,
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been down for a while. We were chasing leaks left and right as far as trying to figure out why this vault was flooding. Actually, I don't think it's been quite. It might be 6
Yeah, it
months.
might be,
It's been about 6
yeah.
months. Yeah.
So Kevin, question, when do you see there being in the budget money to put the rest of the landscape in? Because that is what we are in Tuscaloosa.
Correct.
Fountains and,
So, as of now, I feel. So, last meeting we discussed doing, starting on Tuscarora, and doing the periphery. I would propose taking that money and doing the front, to repair, because the estimates that I've received, they're anywhere between 35 to 45,000 to redo the area that's been affected, as far as the landscaping on the front.
so, being a person that lives off of Tuscarora and the reserve, it's been so long since that has looked awful out there. So
I
what do you
understand.
suggest?
Well, that's honestly, that's a difficult suggestion. I'm not sure. I would suggest to do the main entrance, because it is such a landmark.
Yeah.
I know that, you enter on, Tuscarora, and I understand completely, but it is kind of it's almost periphery. As you drive by, you can miss it. However, I would suggest that the main entrance be corrected first and then move on. That was the only thing we couldn't get covered in the insurance, was the landscaping, unfortunately. So, we tried.
Well, lots of cars run up and down Winter Springs Boulevard,
Yeah.
and Tuscaloosa Road, so.
Correct. And it's been, and I don't know if, well, you were here, Ms. Pavona, when we just redid that a few
Yeah.
years ago. It's been about 5 years now, I
Yeah,
think.
about
Yeah,
5 or
right
6
about 5
years.
years. We just redid the whole
But
thing.
you know what? Here's the thing. If up on those walls coming in to Tuscarora, you put a handful of crotons even up there for some color. It's just nothing but brick. It's just brown. It's so awful. How hard can that be to give it a little color like?
It's not the difficulty, it's the funding is
I
what we're
understand
looking
the
at.
funding,
Yeah.
but geez, let me just go to Walmart and buy a few.
That doesn't seem like a real big expense, but
It doesn't.
Correct, it doesn't seem like it's a lot until you start actually pricing these things with contractors. It's not I mean, you know, it can get pricey very quickly. I will
Can I
look
get your
into,
price? Can I get your price for putting
They
something
have
up
to go
there?
for bid.
it would have to be
Just
an,
for the heck of it?
it would have to be an approved contractor.
Oh, I understand it. I get
Yeah,
it.
no, absolutely. I am
I
more
am ready
than,
to go buy them and do them myself.
I understand. I understand. I'm not saying abandon the entrance at all.
Oh, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I know how this goes when we talk about budget, and then pretty soon another year goes by, and it's already looked awful for years. So, in that center island, okay, that looks awful. However, I'm just talking about the signage area. Well, it's not the signage, but the,
You know, I agree. I agree. I agree. It does. And, you know, we've been working with a shrinking budget due to inflation over the past couple of years. So we're kind of doing, you know, as much as we can with less. So I understand your pain and your frustration, and we are working hard to try to figure out resolutions for these. But it is becoming very difficult.
yeah.
So any suggestions or input that you have, I'm more than willing to,
Yeah.
you know, listen and, you know, do whatever whatever staff could do. We're definitely ready to take suggestions or, you know, and again, we just have to, you know, we've got to make sure that the money's spent in the correct places is all, you know, and make sure that we have, you know, monies, you know, to take care of things that,
But don't we have, am I wrong, do we have Tuscola garden committees of people, don't we have that? I
I'm not
thought we
aware.
had, what is it, like a sunshine one or something? I've thought I've heard of the different,
there was at one
Garden-
point,
There was
I'm
one
not,
time.
I'm not
Might
familiar.
be
There was at
okay.
one
There was a
point.
garden club at
Yeah,
one
there was a
time.
garden
Is
club
that
at one
gone?
point.
They passed
I'm not
away.
familiar.
People
Oh.
who ran it don't run it anymore, so I
Oh,
don't
they're
know.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the
Mary and,
locals.
yeah,
Getting
Mary and
together.
somebody else.
okay.
So,
Could be a Boy Scout project.
I have a question.
Okay.
yes,
This
sir.
probably isn't you, but wasn't there talk of increasing the assessment because of
Yeah.
the increased
That
costs
was
and so forth?
correct.
Has any of that, you know, from budget and finance?
Holly did speak of it
Yeah,
a little
so
bit.
that's what I was just talking about. So we're working through that contract process right now with the company to increase the assessment.
Okay, so there is on something coming up on the
Yes,
books,
it's in process.
So we don't know how much.
It's probably gonna be around $40,000 to do that work.
I mean,
Which is in the
individual
budget.
assessment that's gonna be tacked on.
Correct, we don't know what that's gonna be yet. That's
Okay,
what,
'cause if there's a budget shortfall to do all the things that we're
Right.
supposed to be doing, that seems like the way to attack it.
correct. And that would be one of the pieces, is all of these things that need to be done. And that's what Chairperson Bavona was asking, that you guys are gonna be included in that process to make sure that when we grab all of those potential expenditures, that the people doing the calculations for the new assessment amount would have all of your wishes included.
Okay, seems like a long time since we've had an increase.
It has been. It should have been done a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
And we did speak about it a couple
Yeah,
of years.
that's
They've
what I
had
thought.
a lot of change in
yeah,
personnel at the
Okay,
city, so
that's interesting.
I know.
I'm working on it as quickly as possible,
Yeah,
I
one
promise.
came, one left, one came, one left, one came. So
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Holly's working fast. But
So
you're
you
right.
feel like within about 2 weeks, we'll have both fountains operational?
That is, I hate to
being
give, I hate to
recorded,
give timelines, but that's what I've been told by the contractor. At this moment in time,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. You know, if everything goes according to plan, I believe so. We
We
should be
have
about
some
2
spare
weeks.
pumps, right, Kevin?
Yes, and those
Are
are,
they
those are,
compatible still, or?
yes, they
oh,
are being, yes, they are
Okay.
being, those are being utilized.
Okay.
That saved
Yeah, I
a
was,
substantial amount of money. Thank goodness we had those.
right,
So,
okay, I just want to make sure they continue to be compatible as we
Yes.
think about budget items.
yeah, the actual, the motors themselves which is what we have. We have the motors. Those are compatible with the new pumps.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
Yes.
That's good to know.
And we are utilizing those at this point, though,
Mm-hmm.
just so you're aware.
I had one more question.
Yes, sir.
Part of the this organization or this board is lighting beautification.
Yes.
And last meeting, I asked about how we were coming along with the actual lighting, the light changes, the painting of the poles and bases. Do you have a feel for the percentage that we are moving along on that?
I apologize. I did reach out to Duke as far as getting a timeline for refurbishing the light poles.
Yeah,
I have not received anything back yet. I have not followed up. I will follow up on that and have you an update.
okay. What's your feeling about that?
As far as
Do you have an opinion about the progress?
for the light poles, the
Yes.
lighting, yes. I feel it's a little slow on Duke Energy's part. I mean, if you're asking, you know, like you said, the progress, I feel it's, I mean, they were quick to come in and change everything, which was nice. But some of the peripheral, it seems to be moving a little slow.
Okay, thank you.
So do you know on Tuscarora, there's one light pole that the globe is just sitting on the grass, and it's been like that for weeks?
No, I was not,
There's a yellow ribbon around it, like they're working on it, but it's a long time.
okay. I'll take a look at
Yeah,
that.
thanks.
I'll call Duke and have them. If nothing else, we can move the globe for now
Yeah.
and get, that's interesting, okay.
And Kevin, I know you had a plan to visit each monument and kind of, you know, take a look at them and kind of
Yes.
spruce them up a little bit. Or kind of going to back off on that to worry
Just-
about all this here on the fountain sides?
Not really, I mean, it's kind of pump the brakes just a
Yeah.
little bit. Just let me, you know, once it settles down up front just
Mm-hmm.
a little. I feel we're gonna have. We were going over the numbers the other day. It's a possibility we might be able to do the front and possibly do some other. Yeah, start some other ones. Start with Tuscarora. I know Tuscarora's a big one, so I know it's going to take some money. However, you know, I don't want to. I don't want to throw something in
No,
just
yeah,
to, you know. I want to make sure that when we do it right. So, you know, we might start with another small one, whatever we can, you know, make sense as far as, you know, budget goes.
And despite all that construction we had in the fourth quarter there, the Christmas decorations did look very nice, so thank you for that.
So, well, that was all I had. Did you guys have any more questions? No. Thank you very much. You guys
Thank
have
you,
a great
Kevin. We
evening.
really appreciate it. We really do. Okay. Any other comments from anybody?
Nothing here.
Okay, we'll open it back up for public input. Anybody wanna? Nope. Okay. We'll close public input. And I don't think there is any other business on the agenda here, so we will adjourn.
I move that motion that we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you all.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.